Alright, y'all. So I'm gonna keep it real. From the jump, my arms were never really my strongest point. I've always used to have, like, I would say big legs, especially because I'm a shorter person. But over time, I've been able to grow my arms, I would say, kind of really big, especially for my height and stuff. So I'm gonna be sharing you guys my top secrets on how I was able to do that. And I want you guys to replicate this and, add your own little swagger to it. So you can, grow your arms extremely big too, okay? Now, if you guys want to know them secrets, stay tuned. And make sure you like and subscribe and follow and all that kind of stuff, because I'll be releasing more information like this every single day, week, month.
Girl, you look so good. Don't your stuff. If I could date you, I would. I don't know what you gonna have me understood. I be getting emotional, I'm smoking the wood. Ab gang kush, that's brand new gas. I'm Latino with the apple ass. Life is a test and I guess I passed.
Alright, so first of all, I'm gonna just keep it real with you guys. One of the main things that you want to do to make sure that you're growing your arms to the maximum extent is make sure you're eating a lot of food, okay? Because you're not going to be able to pack on size if you're not eating enough, okay? Now, to keep this simple, whenever your body's in a calorie surplus, you're able to hold on to more weight and also build muscle and stuff like that a lot easier, okay? Yes, you can kind of build muscles out of a calorie deficit, but we're not even going to go into that because, but anyways, what you need to focus on is make sure you're eating enough food. So that way, whenever you're, working out and stuff, you maintain that weight that you put on, okay? That's number one, because if you don't really got number one down, you're not really going to put on no weight, okay? Now, number two is training arms, okay? But not only just doing isolated arm workouts. Now, this is super important, okay? Because whenever you're training your arms, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, okay? A lot of people, they like to, stick to the simple way of just doing some bicep curls, or maybe just going to a machine and doing, cable curls and stuff like that. That is totally fine, okay? And in the long run, that will actually benefit you a lot more, okay? But whenever you're first starting off, you definitely want to incorporate some of the tips that I'm about to give you. Why? Because you have different muscle fibers to activate with different movements. And not only that, your body needs a lot of different stimulus to make sure you're getting maximum growth, okay? If you ever watch any type of Arnold Schwarzenegger videos, you've probably heard him say something about shocking the muscle. That's kind of what we're going to be going into on the second step, but not just about shocking the muscle, but just also having, a little different variety whenever you're training your muscles, okay? Whenever you're having different varieties, that makes your muscles not be able to get, I would say, used to your training style. A lot of people, they don't believe that your muscles can get used to a certain training style. But with my years of training, I feel like I have come to the conclusion that it's actually possible, because I've tried literally going to the gym and just doing the same routine every single day. And I feel like I just do not get the same amount of stimulus that I do whenever I switch it around or incorporate this second tip that I'm going to be telling you guys. All right. Now you're probably wondering, what is this second tip, okay? This second tip is actually going to be compound movements, all right? A lot of you guys are probably wondering, what is a compound movement? Your compound movements are movements where you actually use more than one muscle, I would say. So if you ever tried anything like bench press, squat, deadlift, pull-ups, overhead press, all that kind of stuff, those are all compound movements. Because if you have not noticed, whenever you hit these movements and workouts, you actually use a lot of different muscles. Now, this is super important whenever trying to gain bigger arms. Why? Because you're not just isolating one muscle group, you're actually targeting a lot of different muscles, and also muscles that you just cannot target on certain isolated workouts, okay? Now, a muscle that is extremely hard to target whenever you're doing an isolated workout is the brachialis muscle. So that is the bicep. So I'm not sure if you guys can see, but that is the piece of the bicep on the outside of your arm right here, okay? That is extremely hard to grow, okay? When I say it's extremely hard to grow, it is extremely hard to grow. I remember I used to be like, how can I get that muscle popping out and booming? Because I remember I saw this video of Cody Montgomery. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but he was a team bodybuilder prodigy back in my day. And he had some of the most craziest biceps and brachialis. I was like, how? How can he achieve this, okay? But what I've came to the understanding is, it's not actually just about isolating just the brachialis muscle, but it's just targeting the whole bicep itself, okay? And one of the main ways that I like to do this is actually with pull-ups, okay? Now, you guys are probably wondering, isn't pull-ups for your back? Yes, But remember how I said about compound movements use a lot of different other muscles and not just one isolated muscle, okay? So whenever you're doing a pull-up, you're actually using a lot of your arms as well. You're not supposed to put that much emphasis into your arms, but if you're doing it to grow your arms, it's totally okay, okay? So basically what I mean by that is, like, if you're doing a wide grip pull-up, you will actually start to feel flexing inside of your biceps here, and also obviously inside of your normal biceps, okay? Now this is super important because you want to kind of do the opposite of this whenever you're trying to target your back. You want to make sure you don't feel too much tension inside your arms, but mainly inside your back. But whenever you're trying to grow your arms, you definitely want to make sure that you're doing this out of a way to where you feel it mostly inside your arms. Or what a lot of people like to do to like really focus on like just the bicep peak itself is close-handed pull-ups like this, okay? Because if you do pull-ups like this, you're like using mainly just your arms, okay? So if you ever see a guy doing pull-ups like this and he's trying to say that he's training his back, he's training his arms, okay? And he's cheating you on pull-ups because he's using his biceps. But anyways, like how I was saying though, one of the main ways that you can also train your arms and, like, you know what I'm saying, get them big, because you know your biceps isn't the only thing that's part of your arms. Probably wondering about your triceps too. And this is where bench press comes into play, because bench press is another one of them compound movements to where you're not only using your chest, but you're also using a little bit of your shoulders, in which I pray that you're not using too much of your shoulders, but you use a little bit you use a little bit of your shoulders, and you also use a lot of your triceps as well. But if you really want to target them triceps, you guys, what I recommend is that close grip bench press, okay? Now, one thing that's really, really good about this close grip bench press is you can build a lot of strength inside your triceps too, because I feel like them pull down machines and stuff like that, it's not really made for, like, I would say power, like to make your triceps stronger. Like y'all know what I mean? But I feel like if you're doing like close grip bench press, that can really give you that explosive power and just that explosive ability to really build that strength inside your biceps. But not only that, it can also target a lot of different muscle fibers inside your biceps that you might not be targeting whenever you're doing cable pull downs, okay? Did I say biceps? I meant triceps, okay? I hope you guys caught on to that. But anyways, like how I was saying though, you really want to try these different compound movements, but also, of course, you want to try isolated workouts, because these isolated workouts, you can really benefit. Like, if you don't know what isolated workouts are, they're things like just regular bicep curls on like a machine, or tricep extensions, something that just isolates a specific muscle group. So skull crushers and stuff like that, because they're isolating just a specific muscle group. Now these are very, 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 very useful whenever you're trying to do hypertrophy training. And this is actually what a lot of us bodybuilders do whenever we get to, like, I would say more of an advanced, like, I would say level, to where we're not really trying to build strength no more. We're literally just going for that size and trying to get deep cuts and all that kind of stuff, okay? All right, so my third tip is gonna be actually training your arms more often, okay? Now, a lot of you guys are probably wondering, like, oh, I heard people say you're supposed to train legs. Yeah, that's because we had a pandemic of people not training legs at all, okay? But I feel like now we're at the point to where a lot of people understand you need to train your legs, but now we're falling into a point to where a lot of people aren't even training their arms anymore. So they're having extremely small arms or disproportionate arms, or like just weird arms. Because I've seen some guys with like some huge triceps, but like no biceps. I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's like we solve one problem and then we get another one, okay? So make sure if you're lacking in your arms, train them more often, okay? You should not be training arms just one time a week. If you're trying to really grow your arms, you should be training your arms like every other day, okay? Because I feel like when it comes to your biceps and triceps, they can take a lot more stimulus, just because we use our biceps and triceps a lot in our everyday life. Like almost every movement you make using your biceps and triceps, like they're almost like your calves. You can't really overtrain them. Okay, no, I'm lying. You can definitely overtrain your biceps. You do not want to pull your biceps. And like how I said, you don't want to be using too much strength training when it comes to these muscle groups. Mainly go for hypertrophy. Like, if you're training your biceps every other day, maybe do strength training once that week, and the rest of it you just do hypertrophy training. So higher reps, like lighter weight while higher reps, okay? Because that's really what's going to give you that size. Whenever you're using heavy weights, that's only really to gain strength and muscle density. If you're not trying to get super duper strong, and you're just trying to be big, then lower that weight and get them reps out and get into some hypertrophy training. I hope you guys really enjoyed that, and keep making them canine gains. Oh!